My name is Jordan Green. I'm a 20-year-old sophomore here at Indiana University, and I started a marketing agency called Glacier Marketing Group. This year, we've had the pleasure of working with brands such as Fox Sports, Manscaped, and Governor's Ball the Festival, and we've been featured in press publications such as Front Office Sports, Alaska Business Magazine, and Sports Business Journal. Now today I'm here to talk to you about how I've been able to stay ahead of the curve in fostering relationships, in my personal life, through social media, and in business. Now, I started everything from scratch, and I've learned throughout this journey that it's come down to 3 key concepts. The first is focusing on people and not the project. The second is never being afraid to reach out to anyone, regardless of who they may be, and being relentless in doing so. And the third is providing value without expecting anything in return. Now, like Mokum introduced me, I was born and raised in Anchorage, Alaska, and it's probably exactly what you think. I have a pet moose, there's polar bears in my neighborhood, and I live in an igloo. That's not actually true, but it was a very remote way of living. You know, growing up, I got to fish with my friends all the time and ski in the backcountry of the mountains and play pond hockey on the ice with my boys, but, you know, life was about the simple things in Alaska. We didn't have service all the time, whether we were on camping trips, which forced me to build a deeper connection with the close community around me and my friends. When I was 16 years old, I was fishing down in Anchorage for some king salmon. And now you can only catch 5 king salmon a season. So catching one of these things was kind of a big deal. So I'm sitting there just, waiting. Got a few of my buddies. We're all waiting there with our rods, and lightning strikes my rod. All of a sudden, the most exhilarating feeling just filled me. I'm standing there just fighting that fish. My boys are cheering me on. And when I finally landed that thing on the bank, my buddy Jack was down on the bank to help scoop it up. We brought it back to his house, filleted that puppy up, threw it on the grill, and had the most delicious fresh king salmon burritos that I could have ever imagined. And I wouldn't trade that moment for the world. Now, I went down a week later, but this time I was alone because my buddies were starting their summer jobs and I didn't have one. So I was sitting there on the bank and I got lucky again, I'm not going to lie. But this time I was all alone, and when I was fighting this fish, I had to drag it up myself onto the bank. And to be honest, while it was still that exhilarating feel I felt when I caught the fish, I realized that it wasn't about catching the fish. It was the fact that I got to share that experience with my best friends the week before. We overlook the human experience of just connecting with people on a day-to-day basis. So my advice to you guys, and what Alaska has taught me, is having a deeper appreciation for the people around me and building those relationships. So when you guys are working in class with classmates or even something on a work project, engage in those funny conversations. Engage in those deeper conversations with people, because it's so much more about the people surrounding you than what you're actually working on. So, like I said in the beginning, Glacier Marketing Group was the agency I founded. And it wasn't your sexy startup story where, I came up with the idea on campus. Actually, back in high school during COVID, we all remember those times. Sitting in Zoom class was pretty boring. And I got the opportunity to play around with viral Instagram accounts in high school. And I realized quickly I had an eye for understanding social media and trends. So during COVID, I decided to reach out to people. And in the process of reaching out to people, I realized that building these genuine relationships would help me engage in these conversations. And I was DMing hundreds of people a week and maybe only getting 5 to 10 responses. But my approach was not texting them a 200-word paragraph in the DM saying, "Hey, my name is Jordan, I'm from Alaska, I'm trying to start this agency." It was literally just as simple as looking back at their most recent Instagram post and saying, "Hey, what were you doing on your vacation?" Or, "How was that restaurant that you went to? I've always wanted to try it when I was in LA." It was a way for me to start building an authentic relationship with people. And just like when I started to make these connections, these people started to care about me. And I realized that when people actually care about you, when they like you, they want to help you achieve your goals. So these people that I was meeting through Instagram started to really invest in me and wanting to help grow my agency. Some of those people became clients, some of those people became mentors, and people that I still keep in touch with till this day. At the same time, I was making my own content on social media, and while my friends in high school definitely thought I was, being whack, which I understand, because, it's hard to put yourself out there like that, but I wanted to show who I really was to the people that I was reaching out to in case they came across my profile. So my overarching point here is that when you build relationships, be relentless. I reached out to thousands of people, and it's not about the people that I reached out to, it's about the people that responded to me and gave me the time of day, because that gave me belief. That gave me hope that I could actually make my vision a reality. So don't be afraid when you reach out to people first, because you never know where that can take you in life. So now that you guys have seen how Alaska has helped shape my deeper appreciation for relationships, and how I've utilized social media to develop relationships with people all over the world, you're probably wondering, how did I capitalize on this opportunity when I got to talk to these people? And it's no simpler than providing value without expecting anything in return. So let me take you back to my last quarter in high school after spring break. I'm sitting in the back of my AP Econ classroom, and we're starting to resume hybrid classes, in-person classes. And I'm sitting there on Instagram, and all of a sudden I see an Instagram story on my page. And it's this guy with a large social media following literally just videoing himself walking off of a private jet. And I was like, wait, there's no one in Alaska that has a social media following that comes and visits and is ever on a private jet. So I reached out to him and said, hey man, would love to extend myself while you're here, provide you local restaurant recommendations, transportation services, just wanted to be that guy for him while he was on his trip in Alaska. And we got to know each other over a few days in the Instagram DMs, and he told me that he was actually there with the group on a snowboarding trip. So after talking with him for a few days, I actually got to go out to dinner with them, 45 minutes away from Anchorage. So I drove down with two of my buddies in one of my buddies' truck, and we get to this dinner, and we stuck out like a sore thumb, because half of the table didn't speak a word of English. They were there with a Chinese businessman, who on the other half of the table was there with Steve Aoki, a world-famous DJ. And if you don't know Steve Aoki, he's got long, black, silky hair, probably the most energetic 40-year-old guy you'll ever meet, and plays festivals in front of hundreds of thousands of people. So I obviously was pretty starstruck of just being in this moment, obviously I'm just some Alaskan kid and just sitting here trying to, just chop it up, and you know how it was. And so I got to know the people around me, and the guy that I had initially reached out to was sitting next to me. And after the dinner, we just engaged in genuine conversation. They were interested in my story as much as I was interested in theirs. And I didn't ask for advice on Glacier, my agency, and trying to, get business out of that situation. But at the end of the dinner, before everyone got up to leave, I said, wait, we have a gift. So I ran out to my buddy's truck, grabbed this 4-foot white styrofoam box, and brought it back into the restaurant. And at this time, we're the only people left in the restaurant. So we're all kind of standing up talking, and I'm like, Steve, come here. I'd love for you to open this gift. So he opens the gift, and inside was 50 pounds of fresh salmon, halibut, and moose meat. So they were like, where did you get this? And we're like, we caught it ourselves, obviously. And they were like, that's crazy. So if you want to build a relationship with a world-famous DJ, just give him fish. But what I realized in that moment was that I really wanted to share a piece of our Alaskan culture with them. And that just went such a long way, because they saw how genuine we were and extended the connection back, saying, anytime you guys are in Los Angeles or Las Vegas, we'd love to take care of you guys. The dinner was awesome, and after, I kept that relationship in my back pocket. I didn't reach out to them 2 weeks later being like, hey, can you connect me with someone? Can you do this? I grinded in my own lane, continuing to grow Glacier marketing, and as I came to Indiana University, I reconnected with one of the guys at the dinner. And as we were building out our athlete management division in our agency, I reconnected with one of the guys, and his name was Noah. He was an ex-NBA agent. And he actually helped sign our second athlete to Glacier Athletes. Now, it didn't really hit me of the magnitude of the situation until another year later. When 2 weekends ago, I was sitting in Houston at the semifinal game for SDSU versus FAU, hearing point guard Matt Bradley's name being announced as he walked onto the court. And in that moment, I realized that the relationships that I had started to build had compounded. Because if it wasn't for sending that DM over Instagram while sitting in my high school class a few years prior, I would have never been at the Final Four game in Houston supporting our client. And after the game, Matt had a fantastic game, dropped 21 points, leading his team to the national championship. I remember vividly talking to him after the game and saying word for word, Matt, this is surreal to me. The fact that I get to be a part of this journey with you has taught me, so much in building relationships over time. So that showed me that just, one single message, just one single time putting yourself out there can completely change your life. Now, through this journey, I've learned that choosing people over your projects, staying relentless in building these relationships, and providing value without expecting anything in return will take you the distance. I was never the smartest kid in school, nor was I the best athlete, but what I was good at was making friends and building relationships. And if it wasn't for every single one of you guys here today in this room, the people who I know personally, and through the funny conversations we've had, the sad conversations, just getting to invest my time and coming to Indiana University and building a relationship with each and every single one of you has given me the opportunity to stand here today and share my story. So thank you guys so much for coming out today, and this has been great.
Amazing. One thing that you all probably don't know about Jordan, and if you're getting up to leave right now, that's fine, but please be quiet. One thing that you probably all don't know about Jordan is that he entered Indiana as a Kelley School of Business student, but he actually dropped out to focus on Glacier. And I think that's really profound because a lot of us come to college to learn hard skills, whether it's computer science, engineering, finance, but Jordan decided to go all the way on his soft skills, on his ability to build relationships, and that's taken him pretty far. So one more round of applause for Jordan.
No way.
It was about practicing positive attitude. Well, people go, how do you have this positive attitude? And I was like, it comes down to your attitude. I was cracking up at you or something, and I was like, this is how much meant itself.
I stole your video, you know?
Well, yeah, I know, literally. Oh my goodness. It was
I appreciate it so much. There's no reason. I mean, that's
I know, there's no secret to all what you know. I was getting close to you.
It's about getting like flowers.
That's great.
Oh, of course. Enjoy yourself. You deserve it. Look at
Corey, thank you, bro. Corey's the man. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to shoes to fill over here.
It's intimidating.